Welcome in, everybody, to another edition of Argo Sports Insider. I'm your host, Will Kennedy, and each program we like to spend a little time highlighting the athletics here at the University of West Florida and shining the spotlight on some of our student athletes. We are in the field house here at UWF, and the good news is we are finally going to get some athletic competition. Just started up, in fact, as we air this show, basketball back on the court. And this week we are spending some time talking with our two basketball coaches, Jeff Burkhamer and Stephanie Yelton, as they get ready to tip off their seasons. It is finally time to talk some hoops, at least talk about games being played. Coach Jeff Burkhamer is with us. Last time we talked to you, Coach, UWF basketball, you guys were finally getting the chance to get back together and practice a little bit. Now here we are, and the season is going to start, fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's been great to be back on the floor. I think guys are happy that we get a chance to get back out and play, get up and down the floor, work offensively and defensively. And it's been a lot of good practices, and we're excited about maybe getting started.
The league decided, GSC, to put some games into December, so 4 games, I think, for you guys. And while we tape this, you guys will have played your first one on the road, and the scheduling's a little quirky. You guys will play 1 on the road, but then get 3 at home right here in the field house at UWF. We're not going to have the crowd in here kind of the way we would like to have it, and hopefully eventually we'll have it, but how do you kind of prep your guys for these unusual circumstances?
Well, it's going to be like playing scrimmages. You know, it's everything's going to be heard that you say, whether it be me talking to an official or us talking on defense or us talking to a player. Everything's going to be heard, so you've got to be able to communicate the right way. Guys got to understand how it's going to be. We'll set up before we play these first games how the benches will be. We'll try to make it as game-like as possible with the changes that are taking place.
You've got, I think, 5 guys back who played significant minutes last year, and then a bunch of new faces. We talked about it on a previous show. You've had a little time to see some of the new guys now, so kind of walk us through, you know, kind of what your rotation is going to look like a little bit, at least in your mind, and what we can expect to see.
Well, this is a team I think will go deeper into our bench than we have in the past. We'll be able to play a lot more guys. We want to play faster. We want to play more 94-foot offense and 94-foot defense. So that's what I'm hoping. The practices have helped us. There have been very few subbing in and out in practice, so guys have really had to get in shape. And now knowing that you'll play with timeouts, media timeouts, dead ball situations, free throws, and that stuff that we don't do in practice, we should be good to really get after people. And we'll depend on our returning guys. Those are all guys that have experience in our league and have been successful in our league. So it starts with them, but the new guys got to buy in and get after it right from the start.
Really, that 5 that we talk about, I mean, what's nice is that you've got Brett, Tariq, and Cam that kind of play your backcourt. You've got Daniel and Connor. So you've got somebody kind of every position. I imagine they're having to kind of help these guys get into your system and you know, kind of the way you do things.
And we've changed how we're playing a little bit. We're playing a lot more 4 out, 1 in, and a lot more with dribble handoffs and back cuts and screening and spacing and playing with more pace offensively. And then defensively, doing a lot of the same things except doing more of it, more of the trapping, more of the full court stuff. So our returning guys can't help our new guys, that's for sure. Just talking about the league, the level of play, and then the things that we're trying to do.
For you as a guy, old school is a good term, right? I can use that, and you know, you've done things a certain way a long time, and now here you are, you're going to flip it and kind of change the way you coach and the style of play.
Right.
Do you catch yourself in practice sometimes about to say something and then go, oh, wait a minute, no, we are playing that way now?
Yeah, sometimes it's like you want to revert back, but just understand what we're trying to do, and you got to sell it to your guys. They got to buy in and just work on it, execute what we're trying to do on both ends of the floor. And you know, you don't always make the shot to have a great execution. Sometimes it's execution, you miss a shot, you're like, that's still fine. We got what we wanted. Same thing on the defensive end. We talk about perfect possessions, offensively and defensively, and you're being in the right position defensively, blocking out, finishing possessions, hand up on a shot, only give them 1 shot, all those types of things. Then go to the other end and make sure we're getting the shot we want from the right spot with the right guys. And if you do enough of that throughout the course of a game, you'll be in good shape at the end of a game.
On the 9th on the road, and then 12th, 18th, and 19th right here in the field house, what can we expect from those home games?
Well, Lee has been a team that's been very good. They finished 2nd in the league last year. They've got a couple returning players that are very good. So that'll be a good challenge. It will be their first game. They're off the first week. So to be their first game, our 2nd game, which could help us maybe a little bit. And then we got AUM here the following weekend, which is a team that's been kind of a nemesis to us. A team that we've had issues playing against the last couple of years, but a team that we've had very good games with. So 3 good home games, hopefully to finish out December.
We are looking forward to it, finally getting to play some sports here at the University of West Florida. Good news, we're going to be broadcasting the games, the home games here, both men's and women's, with our partners over at CST and YourView. So you'll be able to hear, as Coach said, everything that's said.
Sure will.
In the gym. Somebody may have to be on a button. Maybe? No? We'll see how it goes. Coach, good luck to you guys on the road, and then we'll see you here at home.
Great.
Coming up next year on the program, we will check in on women's basketball with Coach Stephanie Yelton right here on Argo Sports Insider.
Real change occurs in that split second, a moment of connection among people.
With a common purpose,
a shared vision,
and a unified goal. What will you change?
What will change you? The University of West Florida. No limits.
YourView commemorates the best season in West Florida Argonaut football history with replays of the 2019 playoff run and a special watch-along viewing of the Division II National Championship game hosted by Will Kennedy and featuring in-game commentary from head coach Pete Shinnick, linebacker Andre Duncombe Jr., and wide receiver Quentin Randolph. Tune in and relive the best season in UWF program history.
What does Argo Spirit look like? Is it finding the perfect Argo outfit to show your team pride? Is it giving back while getting your pre-game grub? Or is it connecting with your community in the perfect spot? At Penn Air Federal Credit Union, it's being a proud sponsor of UWF Education, the Alumni Association, athletics, Penn Air Field, and having a spirit of communerosity. Learn more at pennair.org/aboutus.
This portion of Argo Sports Insider is brought to you by Penn Air Federal Credit Union, Jenny King, Hill Kelly Dodge, High Point Hotel Group, and the Florida Lottery.
Welcome back into Argo Sports Insider. We're out in the lobby here at the Fieldhouse now because the men are inside practicing basketball. We spent last segment with Coach Jeff Burkhamer. Coach Stephanie Yelton is with us now. You guys are getting ready to play. Yeah. In fact, when this airs, you guys will have played your first game, and it'll be here at home. It's been crazy. It's been a wild time. How have you been prepping for a season in a way that you have never done before?
Yeah, this has been a very challenging season as far as preparation, with the ins and outs of health protocols, COVID issues, and those kind of things. So it's been very different. We're leaning more on our players to have to do more on their own when they can't be in the gym with us and when they can't be, mandated through a coaching staff member working them out. So we've really had to rely on them to do some things on their own. But also on top of that, really getting involved more with visual aids, allowing our players to help a coaching staff member do scouting reports and, doing some meditation after practice. And there's a whole slew of things that we're working on to help this be a great experience for our student athletes in this different kind of situation.
How much has there been a level of, you got to be kidding me, this too? I mean, because and kind of walk us through, you guys have kind of had to stop and start a couple of times because of the testing and because of the way that it works right now.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with this season is just being super flexible from a coaching standpoint. This is not a normal year. And understanding too that this year also puts stresses on our players as well, because they don't know. This is not a normal year for them. So, we started official practices on November 9th, and that was our first test day, and after that day, we were shut down. Even as we get to our game days, we're still not 100% healthy. So we've got 14 players that have been in and out of practice through this last, 20 to 30 day period. So picking up a little chemistry, team unity, getting groups together that would potentially play together in a game have just been up in the air, and we've been juggling that for the last 20 days. And so hopefully, our games, we can put in a good product. I think we're still just kind of, throwing together a recipe, right? We've got different things we can throw into the soup pot. We know that we're going to need a little salt and pepper at some point. We know we're going to need some extra seasoning at some point, but those things aren't on hand right now. We've got to let that soup pot continue to cook and boil and get those players in a good situation where hopefully as the season goes on that we have less interruption and that will produce a little bit more well-oiled machine in women's basketball.
I know putting the ball in the basket was one thing you really were struggling with last season. Some of the players that you brought in, someone that you're getting back that missed time due to injury, Deasia and MK, you know, they're going to help you.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I think having those players in, we've been doing a lot of shooting, a lot of, you know, when you're down and we can't really do a lot of scrimmages because of the number of bodies that you have in practice, well, there's one thing we can do. We can get in there and shoot the basketball a lot. And I've seen that in practices where we are scoring more in practices. Now, I don't know if that's related to the level of defense that we're playing or if it's just, you know, offensively.
It's good offense. We're just
It's good offense. We're going to chalk it up. But to see the ball go through the net and through the basket at a higher rate than it did at this point last season, it's promising for us.
Home game on the 9th, as we mentioned. When this airs, we'll have already played that. And then you get out on the road 12th, the 18th, and the 19th. So, you know, not a ton of games in December, but you get to find out a little bit about your team, even with all this craziness going on.
Yeah, we get to be road tested, right? I mean, even though we've just got one home game that's going to look a lot different this season with fan capacity and those kind of things, and, of course, the COVID protocol. But then we get to be road tested. And so when we go to Lee, we go to AUM early. Those are being big, challenging games. We go ahead and get those knocked out under our belt, and then they'll be coming back to us in the spring semester.
You got your work cut out for you as always, but with a little extra seasoning and flavor on top of it. Thanks, Coach, for spending some time with us. We're looking forward to having highlights to show on the shows moving forward. Coming up next here on the program, we'll be rolling right down the hill to the tennis courts to check in with the tennis program and Coach Derrick Racine right here on Argo Sports Insider.
Real change occurs in that split second.
A moment of connection among people.
Change is inclusive.
Change is collaborative.
Change is transformative.
Change connects. Who will you connect with?
What will you change?
What will change you? The University of West Florida. No limits.
For those who measure success by the worn tread on their tires, and those who strengthen their body and mind and drift through their weekends over nature's current. Andrews Institute, for those who move.
We've delivered hot, fresh, made-to-order burgers to your table every day since 1950. Now, we're just delivering them a little farther. Right to your front door. Guess you could call them special deliveries. Delivery has arrived at Whataburger. Use our app or order at whataburger.com.
Welcome back into Argo Sports Insider. Time to talk a little tennis. Coach Derrick Racine is joining us now. It's been a little while since we've had the chance to talk to you, and it's been a wild ride for you guys. So let me take everybody back. You guys are on a trip traveling to Texas, I believe it was.
We were in Texas.
Yeah, you're in Texas.
Already made that drive.
It's March, and all of a sudden it hits. COVID is, you know, the announcements come out. You guys have to turn around and come right back. It's been crazy since then.
Yeah, it was a crazy time. You know, we were practicing, and then the next thing we know, we were on our way home for a tournament. But you know, I guess it's one of those things that we didn't really have any control over, and you know, unfortunately, it's still around today. So we're hopeful that we can get rid of this, get this behind us. But in the meantime, we're just working as hard as we can and practicing hard and getting ready for the day when we compete again.
You guys aren't the only program that's kind of in this boat, but maybe more so than some of the others. You have so many international players and students, and they had all kinds of different concerns to deal with. And I remember seeing a few of them here on campus, talking to them through the summer and through those months when we were kind of uncertain what was happening. And a lot of them didn't get a chance to go home, or if they did, they were concerned about coming back.
Right, yeah, a lot of them that went home couldn't get back, especially all my Brazilians. They couldn't get back in the country. I had a couple of them that had to go via Mexico for a 2-week quarantine and then come in through Mexico. They did that. So a lot of challenging times, and then others that just didn't want to go home because of that reason, and haven't seen their family, and now they're going to venture home at Christmas. And unfortunately, we're having another outbreak, so we're just hoping they get back for the spring.
It's definitely different this fall than I know, and you guys are creatures of habit, and it's been a certain way for a long time where you're going to play a fall season and play fall tournaments. That's not the case now. So how do you kind of navigate that? Yeah, it's kind of tough, but luckily, tennis is an individual sport, so they can actually, get out and practice and play matches and work on some things like that on their own. There is some tournaments around too. That have evolved because of the pandemic. So a lot of guys are playing what we call unattached. So they're able to play tournaments on their own. It's on their own dime, so they got to kind of travel and do that on their own. But a lot of them have done that just to keep the competitive edge. And in tennis we can compete a lot during practice. So we compete with our teammates a little more this semester than we would like to, but it still gives us that competition. You really have a tremendous and kind of a unique in some ways program, and the fact that I've noticed a lot of your players, they're a tight-knit family, even if they're from different parts of the world. And I think they really pulled together during this time, and a lot of them live off campus and kind of live in pods together and everything, and they've really supported each other. Yeah, they all live together, so they are like their own family, so they're family away from home. So I think they've always done that, but I think in these challenging times they've had to rely on that a little bit more. What does the spring look like for you guys? We kind of ask every coach this because I know it's all kind of to be determined and things can shift and move, but as of right now, what are you kind of thinking? What will the schedule look like? As of right now, we're excited about the spring. If everything goes. Both our teams got into the ITA National Indoor, which we played last year before the pandemic. The guys did really well. So that's a big tournament for us. That's a national tournament. It actually kind of starts off our season at the end of February. And then we've got a good schedule. We've had to cut a few dates because of the pandemic. Instead of 25 dates, we're down to 17. But our schedule is such a quality schedule with good teams that even with just 17, they're getting a good schedule. We are looking forward to having events going again and getting you guys back on the court. Of course, national championships, Coach of the Year awards, all that kind of stuff. This is a program that just keeps on clipping. Coach, thanks for spending some time with us. Thanks, appreciate it. Coming up next, we will get to know some student athletes here on the campus of the University of West Florida, right here on Argo Sports Insider.
What does Argo spirit look like? Is it finding the perfect Argo outfit to show your team pride? Is it giving back while getting your pre-game grub? Or is it connecting with your community in the perfect spot? At Penn Air Federal Credit Union, it's being a proud sponsor of UWF Education, the Alumni Association, athletics, Penn Air Field, and having a spirit of communerosity. Learn more at pennair.org/about us.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby, you got me falling hard for you. And still, I felt this way before, you know it's true. And still, you got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
This portion of Argo Sports Insider is brought to you by Coca-Cola, Baptist Healthcare and the Andrews Institute, Publix, Whataburger, and CPC Office Technologies.
Welcome back into Argo Sports Insider. Each time here on the program, we like to spend a little time with our student athletes, getting to know them a little better away from their court or field of play. You know, some fun stuff. What are they listening to? What do they like to eat? What are their plans after graduation? All that good stuff. And on this episode, we spent some time with baseball and softball.
My name is Mika Garcia. I'm a softball player here at UWF, and I am a senior. The atmosphere, the people, great people. It's all pretty close together here. It's a good community. So I fell in love with that the minute I found out the community was so tight-knit. Just being a student athlete, the time management is hard. Studying, balancing weights and practice, I would say have great time management with that, because to be able to come out here and play the sport that you love and also get a good education is hard. So to be able to balance that is a blessing in disguise, but you have to be able to do it. Psychology, BA.
What do you want to do with that?
I want to be a clinical psychologist. So I want to get my master's in clinical psychology, hopefully help young children or teens, not sure yet, still trying to figure that out, but hopefully in the clinical aspect of it. I do all the time. They actually get really mad at me when I do it. I took a class in abnormal psychology and I was like, you remind me of someone in abnormal psychology, which isn't cool to say, but it's so cool to be able to just relate that into people that I know, and it makes you pay attention more. It makes you realize more about your peers. Any type of like barstool sports, Javi Baez I follow a lot. Any type of MLB player I follow, softball, Romero sisters, anything like that. Anything athletic that I can keep watching, keeps me in a good mood, especially in this pandemic. I wish I was good at basketball. I really wanted to play basketball, but I didn't, obviously. It didn't work out. But I played baseball until I was about 14, 15 years old. And then I didn't transition to softball until I was 15, 16. So that's probably the only other sport that I've played. And I've played disc golf. Wasn't good at it, though. I have a good balcony view in my apartment, so I like to watch the sunset and sunrise early in the morning, late in the afternoon, just to keep myself calm, keep myself in a good mindset every single day, because it is hard. It's been a rough year, but just to like meditate, slow down, do things to keep my mental state in check is really important. I go to Chick-fil-A. I feel like everybody's gonna say that. I get a 12-count chicken nugget meal with a large blue Powerade, Polynesian sauce, large fries, and maybe a fruit cup if I'm feeling it.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Justin Dunnam. I play left field for the baseball team, and I'm a Corona shirt junior. I'm from Saraland, Alabama, which is in Mobile. I went to JUCO out of high school, and then I went to South Al, I guess it was last year, and then I transferred here out of South Al. Oh, I loved it over here. Pretty close to my hometown, good atmosphere, everything about it. It's just been great. I'm an old-fashioned guy. I love Mickey Mantle, and of course Mike Trout. Mike Trout's great too. I love the outdoors. I love fishing and hunting, and you know, being with family and doing all that kind of good stuff. Hey, either you load the boat with fish or you got a deer in the back of your truck. That's pretty good. I'm kind of a calm guy before the game. I like to just like kind of wind down, maybe some red hot chili peppers or some classic country. That's good. I just graduated this past year in mathematics, and I'm getting my master's right now in mathematics. And I would love to be a college professor. Yeah, all the time. I get professor a lot. That's my nickname now. Giving yourself a nickname is, I guess it would be kind of frowned upon. It's got to be given to you, I guess. And a lot of times it just comes from your number. A lot of the baseball players call each other by their numbers. Riley White, he goes by 3 most of the time. Miller Hancock, 5, all those guys. I'm a huge Office fan. Huge Office fan.
Have you seen it all the way through?
Oh yeah, multiple times.
How many times did you say you've run through?
Probably at least 5. Off the top of my head, I'm going to Chick-fil-A. I'm probably getting a #1 and then an extra chicken sandwich.
You're a grown boy, right?
Grown boy.
Always good to learn more about those student athletes. They truly are students and athletes in every sense of the word. Coming up next here on Argo Sports Insider, Maya Clark is in with a little more on the lighter side.
Real change occurs in that split second, a moment of connection among people.
With a common purpose,
a shared vision,
and a unified goal. What will you change?
What will change you? The University of West Florida. No limits.
For those who measure success by the worn tread on their tires, and those who strengthen their body and mind and drift through their weekends over nature's current. Andrews Institute, for those who move.
Welcome back to Argo Sports Insider. For this edition of The Lighter Side, we asked a few of our student athletes what are their favorite holiday traditions.
Just spending time with my family, really. We always get together. We open a present the day before Christmas, and then on Christmas Day we eat breakfast and then open presents. But just spending time with them is always good.
What do you want this year?
Some money. Can never have enough money, baby. I can never have enough money.
Normally we go on a trip, whether it's for Thanksgiving or Christmas, so we normally go somewhere cold where there's snow, so that's definitely my favorite part of the holidays.
Just being home with family, and the Christmas Eve night, we all go to church and just spend time together.
What is the favorite present that you've ever gotten?
I got a go-kart when I was really little. That was the most fun I've ever had.
My family really likes to get in the car and go drive around and look at Christmas lights, and we always pick up a map of all of the best lights that are around us.
Definitely December 24th, Christmas Eve. All my family comes over from my mom's side, and we just wait till midnight to have a pull-up party until midnight, and then we open all our presents. And so it's definitely my favorite Christmas tradition or holiday tradition. For some reason, I was living through these skater dreams, and I was a kid and wanted a skateboard, and I got a skateboard and I really loved it. But then the next day, my dad ran over it. So that was one of my best presents that got ruined quick, 3 hours of using it.
That's all for this edition of The Lighter Side. Happy holidays and go Argos.
Thanks, Maya. Always a good time on the lighter side. Of course, Go Argos is your spot to keep up with everything going on with the University of West Florida Athletics. And we've got something new for you that we want to highlight for you on this program. The Argo Armada app, say that 3 times fast, it is not easy, is something new. It's a way for fans, for students, for boosters, alumni to keep track of everything going on with Argonaut athletics. Here's how you can use it. Argo Armada is a new app for everything UWF athletics. You can find it in the Apple App Store or on Google Play. It's easy to download, install, and navigate. Follow your favorite teams, players, and coaches every step of the way throughout their seasons. Argo Armada has schedules, team rosters, and the latest news and features. Get info on tickets to UWF events and offers from our business partners. The more you interact and attend games, the more points and prizes you'll be able to win. Argo Armada is the best way to stay up to date, interact with UWF programs, and win great prizes and Argo swag. So in addition to the Argo Armada app, you can also go on to our social media accounts, online, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that kind of good stuff. Go Argos is pretty much your source for everything, and then you can follow the individual programs to kind of keep track of what they've got going on. We're looking forward to having more highlights for you coming up as games are underway. We've got one more program here for you before we take the holiday break and get ready to dive into 2021. We thank you for watching. We'll see you next time right here on Argo Sports Insider.